This is Doc Reo, folks, and I'm here to talk to you about Adobe Spark. It's one of my favorite devices here. As you can see, it has already a whole bunch of actual setup templates for you. It allows you to bring in photos, use different I'm losing where I'm talking about here. Use different fonts, use different styles, use different color schemes. There are many different tools here, and it also asks you to follow them for inspiration on the bottom here. But what we're really getting at here is what you can do with Adobe Spark. It's something that I use a lot. A lot of people see some of the videos that I put out there, the small GIF-like animated videos that I put out there, and some people see the replays that I put out there and the vape lines and all the different videos and photos that I post through Instagram and several different resources here. So with Adobe Spark, I can do all kind of different things, like even small advertisements like you see here, or even something like this where you see this "Find Your Own Way." I can remix this and make this my own. Matter of fact, let's jump over here. I think I did do that. As you see, I've got something going on with this underwater thing. Like being underwater. I don't know what's up with me. But as you can see here, I've already done a remix of that "Find Your Own Way." And I hadn't posted this yet because I really wanted to show you the ability that you have, the abilities that you have with Adobe Spark. Let's go back over here because I'm not going to use the one that I posted. We're going to remix it straight from the beginning. So let's take this particular image right here, or this particular, it's a remix image that makes a statement that talks about, finding your own way. And if you move the image out of the way, you'll see this guy is standing looking down a path. It's a nice image. I do like it, but one of the things about it is it's not set for Instagram. And so for me, it's not going to really work. Where Adobe Spark comes in to play is it allows me to use this design in several different ways. So I could jump in here and say, oh, I want to rechange this and use this for Instagram. Let's see what kind of options it has. Up at the top where it says My Post, right next to it is a couple of rectangle boxes. And you'll see I'll tap on those rectangle boxes and you'll see the opportunity to use, well, this is set for Pinterest, but you can use it for blog posts. You can use it for Facebook profile covers, page covers, Twitter feeds, LinkedIn covers, YouTube thumbnails. You'll have to upload. Some of these don't allow you, well, I think LinkedIn particularly, I had a difficult time uploading, and I'll have to do another tutorial on that one. But the YouTube thumbnail is all you really get out of this, because the YouTube size real video background is very complicated, and I can show you the dimensions, but you can look them up online as well. Etsy covered. You can also use all kind of different covers like Square. Square would be great for Instagram, but we'll get back to that. 2.1, 2x1, 3x4, 3x1, 3x2, 4x3, 16x9, 2x3, and 1x2. But also, you can go back to the original, or you can go to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as well. So, those are the three popular ones, and they're sitting right up at the front for you. So if you have any issues, and you land on one of these, on one of the templates, and you really want to just go back, just scroll to the left, and you can go ahead and start your own. Now, since we got there, I'm going to go ahead and hit the check mark. And now you'll see here I have several different options here. I can change the photo if I want. I have choices between a solid background, photo library, camera, search free photos, Lightroom, or Creative Cloud. I use search free photos sometimes because they let us use those. They're royalty free. So what can you say? They give you many options. So sometimes I use those, and a lot of times, I take the photos myself. And I think I need to put that on my Instagram because I believe I said most of these photos are taken with the iPhone, but some of these photos are made. Most of these photos are made with the iPhone. So, and that's just recently that I started using some just for different statements that I wanted to put out myself, like some of the docisms that I put out there. Hashtag docism. But that's DOCISMS or SM whichever one you want to do. No, anyway, you'll see those out there when you see the Docism. I don't have many out there hashtagged, and I just realized that after all this time. I've posted several, but I'm going to catch that back up and make sure they're all hashtagged for you. Okay, so then you also see that I have the option of adding something new. We're not going to add something new, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it real quick. Actually, we will add something new. Let's keep it there. But you see I have the option to delete it in the bottom left-hand corner. And we're back up here at the top menu here where you can add a font or you can even share. We're not going to share yet. We're going to wait for the share because we have something else we want to do here. So we're going to type something in here. Oops. I think I want to do just like I did it before. At DOC. This is my Twitter. If I can type. The microphone's in my face, so I'm not used to having to type too much with the microphone in my face. Usually I can look around it and while my guest is talking. So if I want to get my Twitter account right, we'll do it that way. And I'm going to go ahead and place this at the bottom. As you notice, I always place it somewhere at the bottom or somewhere I can fit it in, but usually lower than everything else. Now, the things we can do with this. Now, I'm not going to start with the Doc Reo rants, which I usually do. We're going to start with the Find Your Own Way. With the Find Your Own Way, I'm going to go ahead and mess with the font first. I think that's the first thing we should touch base on because I'd like to change the font to something more powerful, something more robust. And you'll see you have several selections of fonts here that Adobe actually has in another application. We'll talk about that other application a little bit later because I do not want to look it up while I'm looking for this. So I'll make sure I have something out there for it, a tutorial out there that says Adobe other application post. And as you see, Instagram likes are coming in. I think sometimes I miss some because they like double up and I see a whole bunch of them. So if I don't get a chance to comment, you'll see that during this tutorial there will be a lot of, well, maybe not a lot, but some Instagram posts, some Instagram likes and some follows coming through, and some Facebook and other stuff for that reason. But I hope I don't get any phone calls. That's the problem. I have to have it on the web. So anyway, let's see here. I think Find Your Own Way. That seems bold, but too bold. Yeah. Maybe we can just go back to what it is and align it differently. Haha. I think that's what I want to do. Use the same font, which as you see was the Playfair font. And what I did is I went ahead and I went over to the bottom left corner over here, and you'll see it says Align right above the trash can. And you'll see I could tap it a few times, and it changes the perspective of the actual alignment as well as the way the caps or lowercase, the case of the font. So now we're going to go ahead and take the image, and yeah, that's a water alert. I need 8 more ounces right now. So I've actually drank 16 more. But anyway, we're going to take the font and we're going to resize it. Make it a little bit bigger, but also I'm going to thin it out. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm about to do something that's totally unique to Adobe Spark Post, and that's the spacing. If you go over to the bottom, right above the check mark, there's a spacing icon, and you can tap that a few times, and you see as I tap it, the spacing changes. It gives me different choices of spacing, which this is the spacing that I really wanted. So I can thin it out and bring it up closer to the top. I want to see him more in the Find Your Own Way. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the Doc Reo rants. I'm going to do a little spacing. Actually, I'm going to mess with the font. And as you might see, I like to use this one particular font for my Doc Reo, and that's this vast font. And I'm also going to change the alignment on it, and I'm going to make it all caps. And I'm also going to do something else that's much unique, that's very unique to Adobe Spark Post, and that's the shape button. That's right above the spacing button. And I'm going to hit the shape button, and I'm going to go down through this list. Now, the best thing about this is I can tap on stuff like shadow, or it's actually a duplicate of the same font that shadows, because when you mess with spacing, you can really do things really crazy with these fonts. And see, we haven't really even tapped into everything that this app does yet. We're only maybe almost halfway through with all the different features it has. So, but going through just these font features right here, you can have a background behind it. You know, you can full block it out. You can have circles and different actual shapes behind it. They even clear some of them out. You can even have lines around it, boxes up and above it, banners if you want banners behind it. But I am going to use this for, as you see, there's several more here. I'm going to use this for one thing, and you're probably used to seeing this. My Twitter logo, already right there for me. You know, Twitter, Facebook, I usually pop those right in. And what's unique about this is that the Twitter logo is too big. You see that? You're like, how does he get the Twitter logo too? Well, if I resize it, yes, it does. It does go down. But it's never enough. Never enough until I go over to spacing here and it changes the size for me. Right where I want it to be. Spacing again. And because I don't know why it doesn't center it on the actual logo, I have to take it just off just a little bit to the right to center it. Now, the last but not least part, there's two more parts of just this area right here that I really like. Opacity. If you wanted to use opacity, the best part about the opacity is if you had a shape like, we're going to go back to the Twitter shape real quick, but if you had a shape like this and you wanted to use the opacity, you could do it in two ways. You can use it for just the background opacity, or you can use it shape for the image. I mean the font itself, and make the font opaque itself and its corresponding logo if you have a logo on that. So that's one good thing about opacity. But the color gives you so many choices of color here. You know, it's almost like it reads the color scheme of the photo that you import, and then it gives you so many choices of what color that you want this scheme to be. And then you also have the two-tone effect here. And the two-tone effect mostly works on if you're using like a shadow behind it, a font shadow behind it, or you're using something else behind it, or like a bar behind it, or any shape behind it. But it also works great when you're using like these different logos on the side, these different social media logos. UCLA, well, close UCLA colors, but close. I think I want to go actual Twitter and white. And I think that's a great setup right there for the beginning of this feature. Now, of this actual process. Now, let's say if you wasn't sure what kind of font you wanted to use or what kind of color you wanted to use. Let's see here. I want basic white. All right. What kind of color or what kind of scheme you wanted to use. See, if you go to the bottom next to the check mark, the first one in from the check mark, you'll see this wheel icon. It pops up a wheel. This wheel allows you to change through different. And you can look at different presets. And they're not really presets. It combines. It continuously combines. It doesn't stop. It keeps going on and 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 on forever. But we're going to bring it all the way back, or just X out, come back to what we had. And you can also click the check mark again and print the whatever you wanted to say in that font. You can do that on any font. You just click the little pencil icon next to the wheel. So that goes through all the pretty much the icons and samples, but it doesn't go through after you go back to the beginning. The first template you see here, it says theme, palette, photo, and animation. Here's even more. In the theme palette, you can flip through different themes here. If you didn't have an idea, this is more like an example palette. But we're going to X out because I like what I already have here. You can also click through the color palette, selecting different color schemes. And mind you, after you select these color schemes and you go edit the font, the color scheme that you put in there becomes part of that color scheme. So you now have made your own color scheme for your font. So we're going to X out of there because I like that. But we also have a way of changing the photo color scheme. And I really like this because, well, let's go back real quick. In the color font, I didn't show you this. If you keep tapping on the same color, it keeps changing different schemes. It randomizes it for you. It also does that in the photo palette. On certain scales, you can put in certain colors and randomizes. I think before I used I think I used this one, Theo. I think I wanted to use this one. Find your own way in the dark woods. And that is basically the breakdown of all the photo stuff for this particular program, this particular application. That's Adobe Spark, once again. And so I've taken care of all the photo stuff, but I left one area out. It's my favorite area. And this is the animation area. If you know what you're doing, you can really multiply some animations with this and redirect things. And I'll show you that a little bit later or in another tutorial, how you can use multiple animations in Adobe Spark. So we'll get to that, but you need to learn these basics first so that you get a adjust for it. So fade. I love that one. Already right off the bat, I found the perfect animation for this particular video I want to make. But you can also flip through and see that there's different fades. There's two different slides. There's different grows. There's zooms and pans. We also have gray outs that fade into the color you want it to. Focus in and outs that fade in and out of focus. Color changes the color spectrum, and fills that totally fill it out. So, or you can just leave it at none. But in this case, I'm going to leave it on the fade. First fade is perfect. It's exactly what I was looking for. Exactly what I wanted. I might even double check the spacing on this Doc Reo rants real quick. Yep, I think that's exactly what I want right there. Find your own way. Now I'm ready to export it. Now you're wanting to know how I export it. I can export it in several different ways by pushing that top left export button, top right export button. Export button that the export button that's at the top right. Wow, that's a tongue twister. I don't know why. But anyway, right here you'll see that I can choose video, live photo, animation, or image with no animation. In this case, I want this to be a video because I want to post it to Facebook. I mean, Instagram and Facebook. So, same company in a sense. Different parts, different tools, but same family. So, I'll be posting this to Instagram first, which will show up on Facebook so that I can put it in my Facebook folder if I want to use any of these videos as one, my profile photo on Facebook. Or if I want to use one of these videos as just a photo share any other time. You never know. So we're going to hit video, and you'll see it creates a video. And then it gives me a choice on whether or not I want to post it to any one of these sources. Now, I have a lot of different sources on my phone. Why? Because I do a lot of multimedia. So some of you will recognize some of them, some of you won't. And I spend a lot of time on GoDaddy. Why? Because I resell for GoDaddy at a cheaper price. That's what Amazotech is. Amazotech is an opportunity for folks to get out there and go ahead and Shop Amseltech, that is. Shop.amseltech.com is an opportunity for people to get out there and build their own web-based content on their own servers through GoDaddy's system. They're Wild West domains. But Wild West domains, I've been with them for years as a reseller, and it's allowed me the opportunity to have less expensive servers. So I offer that opportunity to anybody who signs up at shop.amseltech.com. But with that being said, right here, I would go ahead and export it like it shows. And it made the video, and I think I might have already done it just by habit. I'm going to go ahead and save the video. I like to save it to my camera roll because I never know which way I want to use it. Plus, I want to already have the video prepared instead of going back in and seeing my several videos, especially like the one right here where I'm underwater here. I'll show you that soon in my next presentation of the 12 Steps to Multimedia Success. If you want to know more about the 12 Steps to Multimedia Success, that's our Reo Bucks site. That's our consulting group site. And that's where you'll find most of these tutorials and different things. I hope you found this through the Reo Bucks site. If not, you found it through YouTube or my Facebook or my Instagram or wherever I might have posted something about the 12 Steps to Multimedia Success. Why I can't say it, why it's a tongue twister, I don't know. But this is Doc Reo signing off right here of the 12 Steps to Multimedia Success. This is a tutorial, free tutorial for those out there who don't know. Like I said, it's Doc Reo 413 on, what day is this? November 7th. Right here on In the Hot Box. Right here. This is Doc Reo. Peace.
Let's push button, baby. Let's push button.